I'm a drummer. I play with the band Wishbone Ash, and I also do sessions for people. So they will send me their tracks, and I'll record multi-track drums and send them back to them. I chose this desk because it's a Neve. I've got Neve mic pre's, Neve EQ, Neve dynamics on all the channels. I also have Firewire option to route out to the computer. It's fully recallable and fully automatable, so it pretty much covers all my bases, you know, everything I want to do now, everything I can imagine wanting to do in the future. The most important part in getting the sound from the microphone to the computer is the mic pre. So I used to use like an RME Fireface, which had sort of alright mic pre's on it, but that doesn't hold any weight. People like to know that you're recording with, you know, a Neve mic pre. That's great. So rather than getting 16 outboard mic pre's and having wires going all over the place, this is like one box and it's got 16 Neve mic pre's in it from classic Neve consoles. So I've got those in one box, and I'm happy that I'm getting the best sound that I can at that most important stage of the recording process. One thing I really love about this console is it's got Firewire option cards in it. So whereas before, you know, I'd be plugging my mics into my outboard mic pre's, and then I had to go from the line out into another sound card, usually with expansions on it, because the sound card I had 8 line-ins. This thing, I have one Firewire cable that goes from the Genesis into my laptop, and that immediately gives me access to all the ins and outs on this Genesis. So I have 16 direct outs from the console, so I can record these channels straight through to there. I have 16 AES receivers if I wanted to record extra instruments, and on top of that I can route back from the workstation into the desk. So I've got 32 channels that way. I can route into the line inputs or into the monitor inputs. So then I can use the dynamics and the EQ on here as essentially like outboard processing, but again without all the cabling. And also these faders can be set up to control the faders in my workstation, so I can use it as a control surface if I wanted to mix in the box. So again, a really sort of all-round solution. Once I've recorded my dry drums in here, I like to use the Genesis more like a big outboard rack. So again, without all the cabling, I've got one Firewire cable coming into the console, and I've got 16 channels of EQ and dynamics that I can use to process the drums. The compressors and gates on this are a joy to use. Like, gating toms was the easiest I've ever had. Really, really smooth. They're analog, but they're digitally controlled, so I can save snapshots and restore them for sessions. So I have a drum set up in here where all my toms are gated just as I like them, and the snare and kick are compressed just as I like them. The EQ is so musical. You know, when I've been working with toms, it takes out all the subharmonics when you're cutting things or boosting them, and it just sounds fantastic. I couldn't make, like, I was EQing my snare drum and I wanted to add some top to it, so I cranked the top up. Whereas when I would be doing it in plug-in EQs, it sound kind of harsh and horrible. With this thing, it just sounded like a really nice snare drum. It was what I've been looking for so long, and it was just, I got so excited when I did that for the first time. It's just amazing EQ. The console is also fully recallable, so at any point I can save the working state and come back to that whenever I want. So this is all set up for my drum sessions the way I like it. If somebody comes in and knocks some of these faders down, I don't need to worry about that because it's all saved already. So I do have a session loaded up here. So let's say I've just come in for the day, I'd switch the console on, load up my drum session, back to the way I like it. So with that in mind, I'll go and record some drums.